I'm Matt from the Pickleball Clinic, and today I'm going to give you guys my top 3 tips that'll help you get from a 3.0 player to a 3.5 player. There are a lot of different techniques and strategies that are commonly used by 3.5 level players that 3.0 level players haven't developed yet. But fortunately for you, these techniques are actually relatively simple, and just a little bit of work can help you make that jump from 3.0 to 3.5. The first one that we're going to discuss has to do with the return of serve and making it through the transition zone. A lot of 3.0 level players and 2.5 level players won't make it all the way up to the kitchen after hitting a return. A lot of the times the returns might be short, so they don't have time to get all the way up, or they just hit and watch the ball instead of automatically moving up to the kitchen line. Higher level players, 3.5 and above, will always get to that kitchen line after hitting a return, but at the 3.0 level, we sometimes see the players stay back. So I'm going to give you guys a couple examples of the wrong way to do it, getting caught in the transition zone, and show you guys why this is not the ideal place to be, and then I'm going to show you guys the right way to do it. So if my opponent hits me a serve, and I hit that return short, I'm not going to have enough time to get all the way up before my opponent hits the next ball. You can see I came in, but I was a little bit stuck behind the line, and I wasn't fully set by the time my opponent hit. Instead, what I want to do is hit a really deep return that's high and gives me time to get in. So ideally, I'm set at the line by the time my opponent is hitting. And you can see there, I was all the way up at the line, and I was able to split step right at that kitchen line by the time my opponent went to hit. So here, I'm not going to be vulnerable to any attacks. Anytime I'm getting stuck here while my opponent is hitting the third, leaves me very susceptible to a hard third shot drive, or even if they take some pace off and hit it soft, I'm going to be hitting it down by my feet. Always the worst place to hit is down by your feet because you have to open up the paddle face, so automatically the ball has to go up when you hit it. Gives my opponent a really easy opportunity to slam it down. The second tip that's going to help you guys get from 3.0 to 3.5 is favoring your backhand when the ball is coming into your body. And there's a part 2 of this tip, and that's actually hitting the ball as a backhand with the back of your hand facing the net as opposed to inverting it where you're hitting a forehand. So we'll go over both of those. So whenever the ball is coming into your body, it's going to be almost impossible to defend that with a forehand. I can hit a forehand comfortably out here, I can hit a forehand in here. Once my right elbow reaches my side, I can't go any further without contorting my hand in a way that causes the paddle face to open and make it very inefficient to create any sort of power. But with a backhand, I can defend all the way out to the left. I can defend in by my left shoulder. I can defend right in front of my chest, and I can even defend my right shoulder. So because of this, I always want to be favoring my backhand side when I'm hitting volleys at the net. A lot of those 3.0 and under players will try to hit forehands because of course the forehand's almost always more comfortable because it's on the dominant side. So a lot of players will try to go for their forehand and find that these balls just either get missed or popped up. But if you defend with your backhand, you can just punch that ball forward, and this is very comfortable. Now the part 2 of this tip is when you're using your backhand, you want to actually face the back of your hand towards the net. So your knuckles should be facing towards your opponents. A lot of players will invert this backhand and do something like this, where their palm is facing towards the net. This is very uncomfortable to hit. As you can see here, my wrist is all the way flexed back when I'm in this position. So there's really not much I can do offensively. This is gonna cause the ball to go off to the side. If I go up, maybe I can do it, but anything in front of my body is gonna be really tough to defend this way. So I always wanna have my backhand with the back of my hand facing towards the net. And our third tip today for getting from a 3.0 to 3.5 is keeping your paddle up and always being ready. I see so many 3.0 level players hit the ball and then leave their paddle down. So for example, it would look something like this if we were hitting back and forth, where I get this shot and I just drop my paddle. Now what happens when I do this is I'm not ready when the ball gets hit high to me. Instead, I want to keep that paddle up at all times. This way, I can block it back and reset, or I can always be ready for that attack. So that paddle should always stay up right in front of my chest. The higher level player you play, the faster the pace of the point is going to be, and the ball is going to be coming harder at you. If you're leaving the paddle down and the ball comes up high, it's 2 steps to actually defend. One, you have to put the paddle up here, and then you have to block it, so you lose time. If your paddle is always up, you don't have to worry about raising it. It's only one step to defend, keeping it out in front, and then turning to block. Either way, the ball comes. Again, if the paddle's down, that's 2 steps, raise and then block. So you're not going to be prepared if your opponent initiates an attack. Of course, there are many other skills, strategies, and techniques that separate 3.0s from 3.5s, but in my experience, these are some of the most common mistakes that 3.0 level players make, and the biggest ones that are holding them back from the 3.5 level. Try to implement these into your game and let us know if your level improves.